All right, just before we jump into today's episode, a quick word from our sponsor, Katana. Now, I know a lot of you are selling on Shopify, Amazon, wholesale, retail, and sometimes all at once. And, once you're on more than a couple of channels, keeping inventory accurate gets genuinely hard, and that's where Katana fits in. Stock syncs automatically across every channel and every location, all in real time. So there's no spreadsheets, there's no manual reconciliation, none of the setup overhead of a traditional ERP. Now, you can try it for free right now at katanamrp.com. That's katanamrp.com. All right, let's jump into today's episode.
You're listening to E-commerce Fastlane, the podcast show to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company, powered by Shopify. Listen to real conversations with partners and subject matter experts as they share proven practical strategies, platforms, and the best Shopify apps to help you accelerate your business. The time is now for you to improve efficiencies, grow revenue, profit, and lifetime customer loyalty. Please welcome your host, startup founder, and strategic advisor, Steve Hutt.
All right, well, welcome back to E-commerce Fastlane. I am your host, Steve Hutt. Now, if you've been in the Shopify ecosystem, likely you have because you're listening to the show, you already know my guest today. Maybe not know him personally, but you know the product that he's involved with and one of the co-founders of, and it's called Triple Whale. And their Pixel, you likely have used it, and if you haven't, you should be. But it sits inside literally more than 60,000 brands. I'm sure they'll have more exact numbers in a moment, but it's so interesting what the Triple Whale product does. And they've had this product called Moby, and it's been their conversational kind of AI layer that's been out for quite a while now. And it's so interesting. And I think very recently, I'd say in the last week or two, they've actually moved from more of an analytics tool to more of an execution tool, which is quite interesting. I think that's where this Moby 2 product is kind of the second iteration now. It went generally available recently, like literally in May, like it's like now. But it really is a different product. Like it doesn't just tell you like what's happening to your ad accounts. It actually acts on it. It's quite interesting. And I think there's some specialists. I don't want to speak for my guest yet, but I did a little bit of research, and it's interesting what they're doing. There's kind of 3 specialists that are kind of built into this Moby 2 product. There is like a media buyer, there's this creative director, and there's also this conversion optimizer. And each of these, I'm going to call them agents or specialists, but they own their own KPIs, and they ship work. Literally, they do it. It's a copilot or fully autopilot mode. It's so interesting. My guest is Maxx Blank. And like I said, he's the co-founder, chief operating officer of Triple Whale. And it's so interesting, the Triple Whale product. I've been recommending it. Even by the time we talked before recording, I recommended it to many, many, many merchants in the early days at Shopify because I felt that only having Google Analytics as your attribution tool or analytics tool is, yes, it needs to be there as kind of a default, but adding Triple Whale really helped create better segmentation and in your ad programs. And just because of the attribution windows and the iOS updates and all this craziness that happened. And so it was kind of a default install that I recommended to many people. And so I wanted to have Max on the show today because I want to talk a lot about Moby 2 and kind of like this agentic commerce, what's happening now and how you're able to now with this Moby 2 product be able to execute now, not just like look at neat dashboards. So Max, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Steve. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, yeah. So take me back to the early days, like about the Triple Whale product, because I want to set the stage correctly first. Like, what was the actual thing that Triple Whale was solving kind of in the early days? Because I think it's interesting because I think you and your wife and stuff, you had a brand and a business and lots of spreadsheets and a lot of craziness. And all of a sudden, it's iterated over time now that, that product has moved on, the direct-to-consumer side. But the Triple Whale product was kind of an iteration because of your backstory in direct-to-consumer.
Yeah, 100%. So just like a lot of your audience operators who have, I would say probably have broken through product market fit, probably scaling at some stage of between 1 million, 10 million, maybe have more on the top. You tell me if I'm off there, but there's a typical journey. It's a small team. Maybe it's you and your wife, maybe it's you and some buddies. But you've got product market fit. You've learned Facebook ads, which is, where everyone goes first, and we're all, there's no dethroning that beast because it works. And there's a lot of other channels coming up, which is great.
Yeah.
But really trying to wrangle all that data and understand what's going on from a, you almost become like a day trader, right? Because you're spending in real time. You have to make changes. You have to budgets on, off, scale this, get some more creatives pumping. And there's a lot you have to do throughout the day to really keep that revenue flowing. You need that ad spend flowing because that equals revenue.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And just wrangling all those numbers. ROAS, what's my blended rate? What's my MER? What's, what are just the simple numbers? And a typical scene is a Google Sheet. That's usually like every SaaS tool, right? Starts with a Google Sheet probably. And that's where we started our journey. Triple Whale, which was an offshoot of a brand that my wife and I had started after a few other brands and learning how to run stores on Shopify, which ton of fun and just like such a great entrepreneurial starting point journey. Shopify's awesome. You just get it and go. And that's where it started. So it started in a spreadsheet. At some point, I had a good friend of mine, AJ Orbach, come and work with me, who we were old friends. And he and I started running the brand together. Me and him, my wife, his wife, we were working together in our town of Columbus, Ohio. And he was a big, product, tech product guy that forayed with me into e-commerce. And Triple Whale is essentially scratching our itch, right? Which is no more needing to copy and paste and put into these dashboards. And we weren't super technical, so we need something simple. And I really think that the simplicity of Triple Whale at the beginning, which was just aggregating KPIs from Shopify and all your ad channels and Klaviyo and just giving you like your directionality real time in your pocket.
Right.
That's really what started it. And that proposition and the ability to just get it up and running really quickly helped us our early days scaling. It really, I remember the early days of talking to merchants and trying to figure out how to sell SaaS now into this. I was selling product. I had to sell SaaS to other people that were like me and just talking to them. And they're like, are you a merchant? Because I spoke the language and I understood the problems.
I know.
And then, the iOS and a lot of the privacy updates in 2021. Yeah. Dates are a little, fuzzy for me nowadays, but we saw an opportunity to invest in creating our own like identity resolution with attribution solution that can help restore the clarity around what ad channels and campaigns were working. And that was our Pixel. And that was just like awesome. Right. Yeah. And that like blast off. It was a great solution. It still is. And it's the backbone of really everything we do. And then fast forward a few months, maybe a year later, we had expanded our ability. If we wanted to go up market and work with the bigger Shopify brands, we needed to expand our data capabilities, our integrations, our roadmap around data in general, and our robustness of the integrations that we offered. And so we basically brought in like every integration that a Shopify store needed. Yeah. Organized the data, stored the data, allowed merchants in our team to build visualizations outside of our standard views and things like that, and really became a robust like BI platform. And then the way that got us to where we are now is that we had all this organized data that was it was fine-tuned exactly to an e-commerce day-to-day operation, e-commerce store day-to-day operation, including marketplaces in it as well, Amazon and things like that are key to a scaling D2C brand. Yeah. Bringing all that data into one place, organizing it, normalizing it, a lot of messy work. But we did it well. We still do it well. It's our bread and butter. Having that data layer in the pixel data as well with the customer journeys, that put us into a position where when the AI wave came and we were like, we felt like something was coming with AI soon, and ChatGPT launches and we're like, okay, this thing's very real now. And we went on and built our version of Moby. Right. And that was the chat, get questions, cool questions out of Moby about my business. And that was like Moby 1. Right. I'll pause there for right now, but there's a lot.
No, it is. That's a lot to unpack. But it's interesting, though, like, and I just wrote a note here down, is that there really is a bottleneck. And I think that's one of the solutions that Triple Whale has been fixing, is that there's this data challenge. And then there's like the tools. And now you're right with this AI layer now. Let's unpack the Moby 2 solution, because I think that's what's interesting is that I think a lot of that bottleneck is now being removed because of just this whole agentic layer now, and then we're able to interact directly with your data because of the pixel, the identity resolution, and now, as I said at the top of the show, you've really broken it down into these dedicated agents that actually that can do real work to actually help the business. There's an execution layer now that happens. So, just can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think some people don't trust AI, and clearly there's a lot of labels at the bottom of everything. Claude AI can make mistakes and double check the responses, like that. Like, you obviously have guardrails and things that you really are being very particular. Because we're talking about money and making recommendations and executing recommendations. So talk about the Moby 2 product and then the AI component, how it's like fitting into the mix now.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of it's a lot. And every day, it's like exhausting, and to be able to stay on top of all that and run your store at the same time, like there's almost like this intense like FOMO in a sense. And then there's also like maybe I'll just watch for a little bit as a merchant, let's say, and then see where do the cards actually land here? Where does everything kind of settle at? And it's almost like the fog of war, like being on the SaaS side of things, right? Like it's a whole different game, and it's not even like SaaS. So SaaS is transforming so much, which I'm sure you're seeing and you have seen. Mm-hmm. But it's like the fog of war. Like things are happening so fast, it's dizzying. Especially if you're on, let's say, X, and you're seeing endless posts about the new thing that everyone tried that changed, and like how much of it is like gonna fit and work exactly to your business. There's a lot out there. Right. And everyone sort of is on their own like adoption journey with AI. And there was a lot of skepticism, rightfully so, but it's starting to shake out a bit. You're starting to see patterns. And every time there's another update with a model, like things get more stable, more intelligent, more, And so let's get into like Moby 2 and what's going on with this. So first and foremost, we essentially take all of the models that are out there. We work with all of the frontier models. A typical merchant today probably has used ChatGPT or Claude, right? They've probably done something there. I think that's a good bet now. I don't think you could have said that a year ago or a year and a half ago. Has everybody automated stuff? I don't think so. Maybe some elements of things, but they've definitely dropped in a spreadsheet to ChatGPT, right? Mm-hmm. And that's great. And that's awesome. At the same time, what we have done is we've taken all the models and kind of put them all together. Okay. And you can go into Moby right now, into your Triple Whale account, and you can pick a different model. You want to try the new Nano Banana image gen for your new PDP page, your new images that you want to generate for your statics. You do it, right? So we're kind of like bridging this gap of like, okay, let us have a platform where we can bring this stuff to you in a responsible way that has guardrails, that you can work with our team to implement AI into your business, and it's functional and it's real, and we're going to help you. And not only that we're going to help you, we're going to make sure you get real business value out of it. So what does that actually mean? So here's a story, that I think most merchants can resonate with. Like they come in, let's say on a Monday morning, and ROAS dropped, right? What are they going to do, right? They're going to maybe grab that data, throw it into a ChatGPT, and get some kind of really confident answer from ChatGPT. Wow. Okay, maybe that's right. Maybe that's right. Yeah. Maybe it's ad fatigue. Maybe it's seasonality. These all sound like they could really be answers, right? Yeah. You still don't know, and you don't know if you should take an action off of that. So then maybe a day later, you jump on with your team and you look at the data and you get more answers, and it's still, you're not entirely sure. And by the time you actually make a decision, maybe you've lost a couple of days of ad spend, and that could be very expensive. So what we've done is that Triple Whale has all of your data, right? It has all of the changes you have made on budgets, on campaigns, on creatives across all of the platforms that you have connected into Triple Whale, right? Which is all of them, because we have all of them. Yeah. And it knows that you ran a promotion because we have your Klaviyo account, we have your discount codes. It knows that you changed creative over there, or that your media buyer changed the budget or launched something new over there, or it knows what's going on. So if you ask Moby what to do with that same data, it's going to come back to you with like a really actionable, aware, contextually, it's going to know about your business. And you're like, heck yeah, you know? And when it's on the money, you trust it, you know, you trust it. And over time, you build more and more trust. And we have built in guardrails, and you could put skills into it. I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with skills, but they're becoming more and more of a thing. And it's a memory layer and it's context. And we've orchestrated Moby. They can manage context. And it's really like AI in a box. It's on top of your data, on top of your e-commerce store that just works. And you layer on top of that as well the action layer, right? So you can change budgets within Moby. Right? He'll recommend something to you and you hit accept or don't accept it, right? If you get a lot of confidence, you can put it on autopilot. We have a few customers doing that. It's still early days on the autopilot, but the co-piloting of things is speeding up process. And it's the loop of like, okay, what happened to execution? That loop is contracted so much. And it's really this feeling of like, I don't know, relief. Like you have I can just remember when I was a merchant in the trenches running the ad account day to day, trying to see what's changing and not trying to get data out of even the ads manager back in the day, and then trying to marry that together with some Shopify data. Like that was a hard thing.
It was.
And now you can just do it.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about Moby too? Like when I was kind of researching it before recording, so I understand kind of like all these connections, like the media buyer side, the creative director side, conversion optimizer. This is all interesting, and I love the co-pilot thing. I don't think people are really ready for autopilot yet. I mean, there can be guardrails, but I think it's kind of crawl, walk, run.
No doubt.
But what's interesting that I find is just this kind of like multi-mode kind of orchestration, as you call it, because I think when you think about it, like Anthropic, you know, and Claude is very interesting and it's very powerful. It's kind of like my go-to from a large language model. But ChatGPT come through the OpenAI side, even Google and Gemini. I think it's interesting that these models are available, and you know they're all great in their own, but they're also great individually, kind of on their own. And it kind of reminds me. There's a fellow that I follow on YouTube. I think he does shorts and stuff, but it's called Nate. His name is Nate B. Jones. Now, Nate B. Jones, I'll put a link in the show notes for him. He's a guy to follow because this guy is in Seattle. He's a product guy, but he's just an AI just like savant as far as I'm concerned. I learn a ton from him, daily show. But one of his comments that he makes, and you know, he has a Substack, and I'm not trying to pitch him, but he's a great guy to follow if AI's in your wheelhouse, which I think it should be for a lot of people. But he talks about harnesses a lot, and one of the things that he does that's very interesting, and it's exactly what you're doing with Moby 2, is that you know we could use one model and extract data and make some recommendations, but we also, what he does is he passes it on to the other model with the outcomes of the model of the first frontier model, passes it to the second model, and has them aggressively verify the output, trying to find something wrong with it, not forcing it, but just saying, like, do you believe, here's the data I gave this other model, here's the output that I got. Do you corroborate this story, yes or no? And if it's no, why is it no? And then with that output, he then passes it back to the original model and says, well, just so you know, I passed it through another model, and like, what's your comment on this? And so, but a lot of this can happen in the background. Some of it can be in real time, kind of like, you know, querying it directly, but there's also ways of just, you know, of passing on the process. So it sounds like that's similar to what's going on with Moby 2 right now, was that you have access to all these different models, and they also, you know, yes, you're the source of truth, but you're the source of truth by passing it through or using different frontier models at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, there's to approach AI with like that back and forth, like challenging it and also doing it cross model is very, very cool. And
it is
definitely like it when you know, if you're trying to get some type of outcome and you're really trying to push it, I think that's the best way to really push these models, really push the AIs. Kind of like a learning partner going back and forth with it, right?
Yeah.
You know, underneath all of the models that are being used, let's say in Moby, and also other softwares and things like that, or other providers or point solutions that are leveraging these, there's system prompts, there's multiple prompts that are maybe happening in the background to fine tune things and make it easier for the end user to get the outputs. And I do think when you're doing that, there is some of that happening. But our point for the majority of our customers, that's like a very advanced thing. The majority of our customers can really just come into Moby and pick a new model to see what the outcomes will be. What are they different about? I'm not sure how often they're really pushing it, but I think that that's an advanced use case and definitely a great way to push and to pull and to go back and forth with the AI and get the best outcomes you can.
Yeah. So let's talk about these different specialists, because I think what I find interesting is that, yes, you can query and you can select the frontier model of choice, and you can query it, but talk about what's actually available to people, because I think it's hard because we don't have video right now. But when you have these different specialists of media and creative and conversion optimizer, is all of a sudden the marketer or the founder has an epiphany on something, or is there some kind of recommendation engine built into the solution that says, Steve, we've analyzed your data just on our own because that's what we do, and we've kind of noticed something that I think you might need to action. So I think there's two different sides to it. There's the proactiveness, but then there's also a little bit of reactiveness. Things, well, I believe that this is down because I can visually see it, or I can tell something's off, or I want to improve something. And you're going in there, and as a media buyer, or you want to, maybe the conversion person, wants to improve the lifetime value, or wants to improve, whatever the average order value. They have an idea, and they want to go in and query the data and then come up with a recommendation. So talk to me through I guess there's a couple different sides: the proactiveness, and then a marketer going, no, I need help to solve this problem. Help me. But they're being more directly querying through Moby too.
Sure. The way that we kind of look at it is there's this push-pull aspect of things, right?
Okay.
Either the merchant is pulling information out of Moby, maybe as a hunch, maybe it's something he hasn't automated yet, and so he's pulling things out. Yeah. If you can imagine you're building something or you're doing some research, you're kind of digging around, right? Same kind of thing, but in your business with the power of the AI and your data. That's more of pulling. Pull. Okay, so Moby can actually push recommendations up to you. Okay, now that's really what's awesome about Moby 2 is that it's alive and listening, right? And it can sit in your Slack too with your team and almost tap you on the shoulder, hey, Steve, check out this segment over here. And by the way, here's the campaign that's already built. Open this link and hit send into Klaviyo, right? We have the Rails already built out and the UI already done with your brand already, because we've scraped your brand and it's in Moby's memory now. And so that ability, that's just an amazing thing. It becomes a true team member. And it's almost like your entire business, or you as a founder, or you as a media buyer, whatever it is, someone just put on this Iron Man suit and now can walk around with such power, right?
Yeah.
There's always a lot of fear with AI, and I'm totally not a doomer on AI at all. I think there's going to be a crazy amount of abundance but a lot of uncertainty as well, which is scary for people. Mm-hmm. But so what is it? It's people you shouldn't be worried AI is going to take your job, but somebody with AI may actually take your job. And that's the way I kind of see it. Is these tools, you got to lean in and you got to learn them. And Moby can do that. He can help you. So, okay, so let's get back to the specialists. What actually is the Moby platform? What does someone see when they come in? Yeah. Right? Yeah. So when you come into Triple Whale today, we have built an experience that it's essentially where you are, coming into dashboards originally. We have now created an area of the app that looks like a Chat GPT or a Claude, right? Mm-hmm. Chat interface with connectors and prompts and things like that. And it has prompts there that you can click to get started and start states that are helpful. And that's all about really that pulling information from Moby. So you can say, hey, Moby, what do I need to know today? Or, hey, Moby, build me a new landing page, right? So Moby has all of the tooling that you would expect or feel or experience in a ChatGPT or a Claude. It can make dashboards. It can make landing pages. It can make email campaigns according to your brand and in the specifications of Klaviyo's campaign builder. Right. Anything that you kind of need to build artifacts, marketing stuff, images. It can do video. It has video models. has all the image models. It can do all that. And it's all packed in Moby, and you have to go and pull it out. And we try to pull it out for you with start states and props and things like that. That's all well and good and works amazing. Then you can actually schedule these things, right? So let's say every Monday, I need to do an analysis on what creatives are fatiguing, right? Moby, this is how I think about this. I'm going to put that into here. If you want, you could tell me how you think about it. Maybe check me a little bit, right? And then I want you to run that in a report every Monday and send me a report with the fatigued campaigns and a breakdown of what's going on there.
Right.
And you can run it on a schedule. You can also have that send to you in email or into Slack, or just open it up in the app in the little recommendation feed that Moby sends stuff to.
Right.
That's all awesome, well and good. So you have the whole suite of pulling information out and scheduling that. Great. Now, for jobs that require lots of data or applications that, you can kind of build these mini apps in Triple Whale, which I'm not going to get too deep into that right now, but there's a lot of context that you may need to get a job done. Yeah. When you're a media buyer, you have your recipes, you have your gut feelings that you write down and you go through that every day, right? Mm-hmm. You can start to put that into Moby over time. And essentially, we gather together context, rules, and actions and put them into these specialists that run, and they sit as a little navigation item on your on the navigation on Triple Whale.
Right.
And they are just containers of work. If you've seen sort of the agent builder in ChatGPT, right, they are getting work done for you. And so let's take the media buyer. He's going to take all of your context that you give to it. He's also going to take his best practices, leveraging our network, go through your ad account, and just give you recommendations. And you can hit accept, don't accept, dismiss. And as you get more and more trust, you give it more and more autonomy. If you want, it is crawl, walk, run for sure. Yeah. They can send the recommendations into Slack, like I had mentioned. That's great. It's a lot of a rules engine with LLM and all your data, if you can imagine, and then dashboards to show you what's going on. So you can track it. What is the ROAS? If you're trying to improve MER or ROAS, you can see that front and center. You can see how it's doing. Okay? There's an action log, an activity log of all the things it did for you. If you could think of the conversion rate specialist, so he's trying to improve your conversion rate, right? Mm-hmm. How is he doing that predominantly right now? What we've done for that right now is essentially ad creative married to landing pages. Mm-hmm. So you have a consistent experience. You have a PDP experience that Moby made that is plugged into Shopify's landing page generation API that goes right into your theme and has the pixel already ready to go. And they can generate dozens of landing pages that are awesome, persona-based, based off of your current ads or new ideas. And you just watch it go. You approve things. You approve it, yes or no. And you watch the CVR improve. That's the current conversion rate optimization specialist, right? Mm-hmm. And then on the creative side, that is, I kind of mashed that together with the other one. But on the creative side, that is doing creative audits and recommending new angles and new statics right now. We'll get video into that specialist here shortly. Yeah. And all this stuff is actionable from within inside Triple Whale. So the data, you can push the recommendations straight into Meta, push the landing page straight in to Shopify, and have the ads created and running in your Meta account as well. And that's the power of this platform. And, a lot of people on their journey are trying to maybe set up a Claude Code or not a Claude Code, wrong industry, a Claude Cowork, trying to manage, or maybe some MCPs and things like that. Yeah. But we've got it all sort of here for the e-commerce merchant. And it's aggregated and managed and actionable for your business. So you can just take it off the shelf and kind of rock and roll.
It's interesting though, these frontier models, a lot of them are best in class, more for reasoning, but they don't like what you said, they don't really know your business. And I think that's the benefit of what Moby's job is. It's more like context and kind of this routing layer, because now you can orchestrate things using the large language model kind of as the reasoning part, but now the nice thing about it is because of the pixel and knowing all the business metrics, including what's going on in Shopify and visitor behavior and the whole thing, and then having all of that, and then all the ad accounts and its performance, and then all the legacy data that you've already like accumulated, the IP that you already have. I think that's really, it's quite powerful having all of that, but now sitting on top of this reasoning model now too, and now being able to advise the founder or the marketer, whomever, that here's some recommendations that we recommend you do and test and experiment with. And then, like I said, see the ROI at the other end of improved, whatever the KPIs are, right? So
100%. That is the proposition. That is our AI play.
Yeah, that's great.
And like, you have this reasoning engine, you have it aware, it knows the context. Like, you wouldn't hire just anybody to run your ad account, right? You would hire someone who's aware of your business, aware of the industry, the trends. We have the network of all of our other stores, right? Like, we have our finger on the pulse.
I'm gonna mention one other thing here that I think is important, because I mentioned to another fellow that I interviewed a couple weeks back. There's this app creep that happens, these different apps that people keep adding, and point solutions do certain things. And I'd argue that like kind of what you folks are doing right now with Moby 2, which I think is interesting, is that you solve a lot of point solution problems that are dedicated apps doing certain things. They may connect to Klaviyo or Attentive and PostScript. They may do lots of other interesting things, and they may have a great partner ecosystem. But the problem is, the more apps you keep adding, it adds more complexity to the store. It slows, slows down the store. Then your core web vitals and your light speed scores go down, and all of a sudden, then there's when there's speed issues, then there's the organic traffic problems. All of it is a cascading effect. I mean, I joked with the other guy. I said, listen, what? I used to do app audits. So, like, I take on a new brand. That's the first thing I do. So what the hell are all of these? Can you say yes? What is this? What's
the legacy code that's still on there,
Oh, no, that's a whole separate business of like stripping that out. I've had many people where I've had to say, no, we're going to fully export your customer records and all your data out. And you're going to get a new theme installed, because this is a nightmare. What's going on in legacy code that didn't undo itself. It's a big old nightmare. But I think that's what's happening with Triple Whale now, is that no. Instead of all these separate solutions, a little bit of duct tape going on with all the other ones. I mean, a funny story. I had a brand, really. I did an app audit with them, and they had an app that someone installed for forecasting only, and it was $500 a month, and it did what it needed to do for that marketer or for that financial person. But at the end of the day, that person left the company and didn't tell them this $500 app is still running. So it's cost them $6,000 a year in just like poof margin gone. Yeah. That's silly. And where, Moby can fit into this, Triple Whale and Moby 2 now can fit into the mix now. Install it, it runs, it does its thing, and it does a lot of things, like from the media, creative, and conversion optimization of these certain kind of roles, plus any other roles that will come out of it too.
Well, look, it's like you've heard about obviously, for sure you've heard of vibe coding, right?
Yeah.
And have you vibe coded anything?
I've played a bit. I've kind of I haven't actually published anything, but I've used a few tools. Yeah.
So that experience, which is unbelievable. Like, anyone who's creating anything nowadays, just the ability to do it is just so. It's like an entrepreneur's.
I know.
It's unbelievable. And
it is.
So what we have created with Moby 2 is all of that vibe coding UI, generative UI, right? Mm-hmm. You can now vibe code with a prompt. Like, I was on a client call showing him, it was a CEO, a new CEO of a brand that they were trying to turn around, right? And they needed to just know what's going on, and they had just got there. And I'm like, we got on a call, and I got on Zoom, shared screen. I said, I'm on their account with them, and I go onto the Moby screen, and on Moby itself, it has the voice, dictation, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I want you to speak through the Zoom call into Moby as I turn on the microphone, right? Tell me your problems. And we just went through 5 problems. What media is working? What's the inventory level? What's the best sell? What's the LTV? Give me, do a full Klaviyo audit. Do a CRO audit. Right?
Yep.
And we did one question after another, about 5 questions. And by the time we got to the 5th, the first was already done processing, right?
Oh my.
And we went back, and it was just unbelievable. Like, that real feeling of like, I've got some control over things. I can see what's going on. It's unbelievable. We use Moby internally at Triple Whale. We dog food our own product.
Absolutely.
And like just the amount of just like unlock is unbelievable. Anyways, so I'm
I love
side
it.
tangent.
No.
One of the questions that we asked with this operator, it's like $15 million brand. They wanted to understand what the best sellers were. Like more granularly. And they also wanted to like, honestly, they wanted to know like what's going on with inventory in general. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's just take this a step further, just to show you the capabilities here. But I told Moby, go through my inventory, give me insights. We have 30-day buffer. We have a turnaround time on production. I just made up 90 days, right?
Yeah.
Give me insights and also build an inventory management app into this breakdown you're going to give me.
Yeah.
Within 10 minutes, we have like a fully functioning. Again, is it ready to be pushed to production and like this store could use this? I would do a few more passes, maybe get someone internally to look it over.
Yeah,
but they had a fully functioning inventory forecasting and reordering app built on top of their data that they had fully set up and ready to go inside Triple Whale on top of Moby too. Okay, like that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. That's wild. This is really wild. Okay, so
I got to show it to you. Another call. We should.
Yeah. No, 100%. No, I definitely do want to see it because I think that's the thing. It's just like that's the whole reason why I have you on today, because I think there's a lot of people that want to do things. They just and I think we talked kind of just before recording. It's like some people are a little bit apprehensive to want to try it, but they're kind of wait and see kind of people. But on the flip side, though, there are people that are a little bit more progressive, and I think that's the thing. Like Triple Whale has this reputation already of solving a lot of the identity and the attribution challenges of the past. And now, as iteration has happened, and now AI is out and things like that, and these frontier models, and having full access to your data now, and paid media data. It's a no-brainer to install it and try it and kind of see what it can do now, because you don't know what you don't know. And I think that's the key now. It's like the power is there. It's just like you can still crawl, walk, run. Let's solve one problem at a time. And like I said, it's so interesting that you're eating your own dog food and using Moby to internally as your own tool, because you have access to all the frontier models, so you can really have your own persistent memory and do your own thing to improve the product.
You can take that memory to all the models now instead of going and redoing it in every model, right? You can store it in Moby.
I know, right? That's just wild.
These things will become more and more normal, right? And they are. Like just like you have to manage integrations, or if you're a bigger brand, you have a data warehouse, you're managing the data, and you're going to need to manage the connections into these models. You're going to need to manage the MCPs.
Yeah, 100%.
And we're doing it for you here. It's a huge unlock.
So, and obviously, I'm on like Claude Max, and I'm on all these different plans and doing things like I do my thing. How do you price the Moby 2 product now?
Such a good question.
Because is it tokens and like usage? I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Oh man, this is like the biggest question, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're now rolling out new plans.
Okay.
Where we have built in the majority of the usage into the plans. That let's say 90% of the users, based off of our data, we think that these will cover it. And if you become a real power user, then you need to buy some more usage, right? Which is basically just tokens.
Yeah.
We'll sell that to you,
right.
And you're going to basically get the same cost as if you were going to go and buy tokens at the frontier models anyway. So we work with them, and that's how we're solving this. So we have basically a starter plan we call like our foundation plan, which is more on the data and attribution side with Moby as well. Okay. But when you want to get into the automation side and the co-piloting, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to come in our automate plan.
Okay.
And that's where you do get it's a bit more expensive, but there's a lot going on there, a lot of value. And it really feels like another team member. It lives with you in Slack. It pushes these recommendations to you. It'll build things for you without you even asking. They're really helpful. Whether it's a cohort analysis or, hey, Steve, check out what these customers are doing over here, or this product is really selling well. Mm-hmm. let's get some other offers with it as well. And these look like they could go with it. And let's bump up your AOV and LTV with it. Like, it really understands. And then our most expensive plan, our most premium plan is really our enterprise offering, which really kicks in for brands doing, when I say enterprise in the Shopify space, it's a little different language there, but brands doing 10 million, 15 million or more that want to leverage all of the data AI suite, but also let's bring in some of our expertise around incrementality and holdouts and geo and MMM and some of the other data sets and features around our unique data because of our data network, right? Mm-hmm. And that's coming in that plan. And that's data science and things like that. But yeah, that's how we're thinking about these things. And we have a team also that can come in and help build more customized experiences or help get you set up and really helping you along in the journey towards really an AI transition, right?
Right.
That's happening. And I think one thing that is really meaningful that you've brought up a few times here is like, you don't have to bite the whole thing right now, right? You can start, we're very big and like, let's start where the customer is. We have a platform that's, highly productized and can meet you where you are, or you can be very advanced and, be ripping context and storing memory and, we can help you and get you started.
Lovely. I do have a lot of agency partners that are that manage clients. I think obviously there sounds like a great opportunity there. What's your thought process on agencies and getting access to? Are there custom dashboards to manage their clients through the Moby system or through Triple Whale?
Yeah. So we are about to roll out what we call like our partner platform.
Oh, okay.
And it's early, but it's just about ready. We are moving quick with all sorts of new things. But high level, what that's going to allow is that agencies that have clients on Triple Whale, which there's thousands right now that manage accounts, and they can roll up all their accounts, see what's going on high level with a portfolio view, and then they can actually deploy Moby into the accounts, automations. The whole analysis, the whole gamut of Moby, you can deploy into the accounts at scale from a centralized account that can help you manage cross-store, cross-border. It's actually huge. Like, it's going to be. It allows agencies to really deploy tokens and intelligence into their brands.
Yeah, I think that's a huge unlock because I think in many agencies, especially these plus agency partners with some big enterprise clients. I think just all over anybody that's listening that has agency that does done for you services for your clients. Yeah. It sounds like the Triple Whale kind of like agency opportunity is huge.
And we've worked with agencies since the beginning. It's been our biggest distribution channel.
Yeah.
And we love it. This is the first time that we believe we have a product that can really help agencies like leverage this intelligence into their clients in an unprecedented way. And it's an Iron Man suit. It's just going to help manage clients, more efficiency, and just be complementary. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, we are nearing the top of the hour. So I guess my last and kind of final question is like, what do you believe the next move is for those that are listening right now that are not Triple Whale customers that say, hey, you know what? And most want to crawl, walk, run. What do you tell them? First of all, sweet spot of customer that will get the best value out of Triple Whale. And then what do you believe the next steps are for Moby 2 for those that are listening?
Yeah. We have a freemium product, which is more of like a data aggregation on your phone. You can see what's going on with your business, like the beginning story.
Yeah.
And that is for any business, right? Where let's say the attribution play, the data play, and the AI play comes into it is really, I would say, when you're over $1 million and you found product market fit, you're starting to understand, you're starting to grow, you're starting to understand the levers. That's when you come in and you can really start to leverage Triple Whale's full platform.
Yeah. All right. This is great.
Yeah. And then in terms of where Moby is going to get smarter because every time another model comes out, like the tide raises all boats, right? We get it the same day.
Yeah.
And so we're here to just help merchants get success with AI and data and help you operate and get the decisions you need to grow your business. And that's what we're doing. Yeah.
I love the AI teammate that
It really
you
is
mentioned.
that.
It really is. It's so amazing. And like for a very small amount of money, hundreds, if not $1,000 a month or less, it's just like, holy smokes, man. You can like really have it's way cheaper than having a full-time employee, but like way more with the reasoning and all your data. You're getting the right outputs with guardrails. And so I think that's a really cool thing that you've built and continue to iterate on.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is amazing. So what I'll do is I'll put everything in the show notes, links to the Shopify App Store so you can install Triple Whale. The freemium, I love that idea as a good starting point. These run on your phone and then go into the starter or advanced plans. And then, like I said, I think you can get rolling with Moby, as you just kind of like iterate through. I'm sure there's obviously a path upon adding the app that there's going to be a customer success side of kind of outreach to kind of saying, hey, how are you using the software? And is there anything we can do? Or, hey, we saw this, you might want to try this. So I think there's still that crawl, walk, run kind of opportunity. And I love the fact you can slice off the platform. I didn't realize that was the case. It's not an all or nothing. It's just like, no, you can try this first and then get used and then kind of, and pay to play as you iterate both, your business and the platform itself. So yeah.
100%.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Any kind of parting words before we log off for today?
Look, it's crazy out there with AI. There's a lot of unknowns. A lot of things are changing, and a lot of things probably aren't changing as well, right? Like the ability to leverage these tools, to leverage this technology, and to get meaningful business results by doing so, by really contracting that. I have a question to I have a solution, and then I've actually already deployed it and iterated a few times.
I love it.
That has gone down to a fraction of what it used to be. And that is something that merchants can't sleep on. And there's a lot out there. There's a lot to keep up with, but we are here to do a lot of that work for you and to be there for you and to help you get success.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, Triple Whale, Moby 2, exciting times. Thanks, Max, for coming on the show today.
Amazing. Thank you, Steve.
All right. Have a good one. Well, that's it for today's episode. I'd like to thank you personally for being a loyal listener of E-commerce Fastlane. It's my hope that this podcast is offering you a ton of value through growth strategies, tactics, and exclusive insider tips on the best Shopify apps and marketing platforms, all with my personal goal to help you build, manage, grow, and scale a successful and thriving company powered by Shopify. Thanks for investing some time today and listening to the show. I'm so proud and excited that you have a growth mindset and are a constant learner. I truly appreciate you and your entrepreneurial journey. Enjoy the rest of the week and keep thriving with Shopify.